I realized my best friend was trying to erase me the day my own coworkers congratulated her on my promotion. Not me. Her. We were standing in the break room when my manager smiled at Alyssa and said, "You earned this. You've been working toward it for years." Alyssa laughed. My laugh. "Thank you," she said. "It means a lot." I felt my ears ring. "I'm sorry," I said, forcing a smile. "I think there's been a mix-up." My manager looked confused. "Is there?" Alyssa turned to me, eyes wide and apologetic. "Oh my God. Did you not know yet?" "Know what?" "That they decided last week," she said gently, after reviewing the portfolio. My portfolio. The one I'd stayed up nights building. The one I'd shown her when she said she needed inspiration. I laughed, because my brain couldn't catch up fast enough. "That's funny," I said, "because that's my work." The room went quiet. Alyssa tilted her head. "We collaborated," she said. "You helped me, remember?" I stared at her. Helped her? This was the same woman who had cried on my couch 3 years earlier, saying she didn't know who she was without me. The same woman who started dressing like me, talking like me, ordering the same drinks, dating the same type of men. I'd brushed it off as flattery. That was my mistake. After the meeting, I checked my inbox. My presentation, sent from her email. My pitch, rewritten in her voice. My ideas, credited to her. And the worst part? There were replies. From clients. From HR. From people who'd stopped including me weeks ago. Because to them, I didn't exist anymore. I confronted Alyssa that night. She smiled the way she always did when she thought she was winning. "I didn't steal anything," she said. "I became you." My stomach dropped. "What does that even mean?" I asked. She stepped closer and lowered her voice. "It means people like me better," she said. "And now they don't need you." That's when I understood. She hadn't copied my life because she admired it. She copied it because she planned to replace me in it. And the next thing she did proved she wasn't finished. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, staring at her, trying to understand how someone I'd trusted for a decade could say something like that with a straight face. "People don't just stop needing someone overnight," I said quietly. Alyssa smiled. "They do when they realize they have an upgraded version." That word, upgraded, made my skin crawl. I went home and started digging. Old emails, shared folders, message threads I'd never paid attention to before. That's when I saw it. Months of subtle moves I'd missed. She'd forwarded my ideas to herself, for reference. She'd volunteered to handle meetings I was supposed to attend. She'd corrected people when they mentioned my name. "Oh, you mean Alyssa?" she'd say. "She's the one, leading that now." She didn't just copy my work. She slowly removed me from it. The next morning, I found out she'd done the same thing in my personal life. My phone was unusually quiet. No good morning texts from our mutual friends. No replies in the group chat. When I finally asked what was going on, one friend replied, "Alyssa said you needed space, that you were overwhelmed and stepping back." Stepping back. I confronted another friend in person. "She told us you were going through something," he said awkwardly, "that you didn't want people asking questions." I laughed. "I didn't say that." He hesitated. "She sounded really concerned." Of course she did. Concern was her favorite costume. That afternoon, I ran into my ex. My ex, the one I'd dated for 2 years. He smiled like we were strangers. "I heard you moved," he said. I froze. "Moved where?" He frowned. "Alyssa said you left town, needed a fresh start." I felt dizzy. "She's been helping me process things," he added. "She's been there for me." There it was again. There. Always there. I realized something terrifying. She hadn't just copied my life. She'd been auditioning for it. And judging by how easily everyone stepped aside, she was winning. That night, I went to my parents' house and sat in my childhood bedroom, staring at the walls like they might ground me. My mom asked gently, "Are you and Alyssa okay?" She said, "You've been acting unstable." Unstable. That word hit me like ice water. Because it wasn't just coworkers and friends now. She was shaping the story. And if I didn't do something soon, there would be nothing left of me to defend. I stopped confronting her. That was my first smart decision. Because every time I pushed back, Alyssa didn't argue. She documented. She saved screenshots. Took notes. Told people she was worried about me. That I was spiraling. That I was jealous. So instead, I went quiet. I watched. And the more I watched, the worse it got. She changed her hair to match mine exactly. Started wearing the same perfume I'd worn for years. posted photos in places I used to go, captioned with things I used to say. Even her voice changed. Softer. Slower. Like she'd practiced it. The breaking point came when I walked into my favorite coffee shop and the barista smiled brightly at her, then looked confused when he saw me. "Oh," he said awkwardly. "There are two of you now." Alyssa laughed. "People say that all the time." I didn't. That night, I finally did what I should have done weeks earlier. I made a timeline. Every idea I'd shared, every introduction I'd made, every moment she'd stepped in to help. Patterns snapped into focus. She didn't copy everything. She copied me at my best. My confidence, my routines, my milestones, and she erased everything else. My struggles, my exhaustion, my humanity. I realized something chilling. She wasn't trying to be me. She was trying to become the version of me people liked most, without the parts that made me real. I checked one more thing. My cloud storage. My heart started racing as I scrolled. Folders renamed, files duplicated, ownership changed. She'd been quietly transferring my work into shared drives I no longer had access to. I took screenshots of everything. Then I found something worse. An email draft she'd never sent, saved accidentally in a shared folder. The subject line read, "Transition Plan." My name was in the body. Past tense. She'd written about me like I was already gone. That's when I understood the truth. She wasn't reacting to opportunity. She was executing a plan. And the next move she made was designed to make sure no one would believe me when I finally spoke. The email went out the next morning. Not to me. About me. I found out because my phone exploded with messages that all said the same thing in different ways. "Are you okay? We didn't know it was this bad. Why didn't you tell us you were stepping away?" Stepping away. I opened my work inbox with shaking hands. There it was. From Alyssa. Subject: Update on team structure. She'd written it like a memorial. After many conversations and a lot of care, we've decided to redistribute responsibilities. Claire has been dealing with some personal challenges and has chosen to take time away to focus on her health. I'll be stepping in to ensure continuity. Chosen. I felt nauseous. She CC'd everyone. Leadership. Clients. People I'd worked with for years. By the time I replied, by the time I said I did not choose this, the narrative had already settled. HR called me in that afternoon. They were polite, soft voices, careful words. "We're just concerned," they said. "Alyssa shared some things that made us think you might need support." "What things?" I asked. They hesitated. "She mentioned mood swings," one of them said. "Fixation. Difficulty letting go." I laughed, sharp and disbelieving. "You're describing grief." They exchanged a look. "She's worried you might escalate," the other added. Escalate. That was the word she'd chosen, the one that made me sound dangerous without saying it outright. I left the meeting feeling hollow. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by the life she'd copied so carefully, books she'd borrowed and never returned, plants she'd bought because you love them, photos of trips she'd tagged herself into online like she'd been there all along. I opened my laptop and organized everything. Screenshots, timestamps, original files with metadata, proof. But proof only matters if people are willing to look. So instead of going to HR again, instead of confronting her, I did something different. I reached out to someone Alyssa had forgotten about, her last roommate, the one she'd moved out from suddenly, with no explanation. She replied within minutes. "Oh my God, she's doing it again, isn't she?" My hands went cold. Again. She told me everything, how Alyssa had copied her routines, moved into her social circle, started telling people the roommate was unstable, then quietly replaced her at work. "She always waits until people trust her more than you," the roommate wrote. "Then she pushes you out and acts like she's saving everyone from you." I stared at the screen. This wasn't personal. It was patterned, predatory. And now that I knew that, I stopped feeling afraid. Because the last thing Alyssa expected was for me to stop trying to prove I was sane and start proving she was consistent. I didn't expose her loudly. I exposed her accurately. I sent one email. Not emotional, not defensive. Documented. I attached my original files with timestamps. The forwarded emails showing my work sent from her account. The transition plan draft with my name written in past tense. Screenshots from her former roommate. Dates, messages, patterns. Then I added one sentence at the top. "This isn't a misunderstanding. It's a repeat." HR responded within an hour. So did my manager. So did legal. Because once people stopped looking at me and started looking at the timeline, everything shifted. Alyssa was called into a meeting she didn't smile through. Her access was limited, temporarily. Her emails were audited. Her story stopped sounding calm when facts replaced tone. She tried to message me. Alyssa, why are you doing this to me? I didn't reply. By the end of the week, the promotion was rescinded. The announcement was corrected. My name was restored where it belonged. She resigned the following Monday. No goodbye post, no explanation. Just gone. Friends started reaching out, quietly at first. I'm so sorry, one said. She told us you asked for space. Another admitted, she said you were obsessed with her. I didn't argue. I didn't need to, because the truth had already done its work. Months later, I ran into her at the same coffee shop. She looked different, smaller, unfinished. She didn't meet my eyes, and I realized something important. She didn't want my life because it was perfect. She wanted it because she didn't have one of her own. My best friend copied my entire life and tried to erase me, but erasing someone only works when they stay quiet. I didn't. And now, I finally belong to myself again.